What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel here at Shae TV. Today I'm going to be doing a video on my first time making cupcakes from scratch. And I mean like powder, milk, eggs, flour, everything that I could think of that is needed to make vanilla cupcakes. I'll also be making my own buttercream that goes on top of the cupcakes as well and piping it onto them myself. Welcome to our very first episode of Shae Bakes, a mini-series brought to you by Shae TV. Alrighty, so to help me out with today's recipe, because I have no idea what I'm doing, I turned to the internet. I'll be using a recipe off of Life, Love, and Sugar that has been published in 2020 by a girl named Lindsay. She said that it's going to be super easy to make these and that the basic ingredients that I'll be needing today are going to be right in my pantry, which that was a lie because I don't bake, so they actually were not in my pantry, so I did have to go to the store and buy them. So for the vanilla cupcakes, I'll be needing all-purpose flour, baking powder, salt, unsalted butter, sugar, vegetable oil, vanilla extract, eggs, and milk. For the buttercream frosting, I'll be needing unsalted butter, powdered sugar, vanilla extract, water or milk, and salt. So this is exactly what I'll be using today. If you can see right behind me, I have all my ingredients out and ready to be used. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started by prepping my pan and sorting out all of my ingredients. Alrighty. So I went ahead and sorted out all of my ingredients. In this bowl right here, we have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We have 2 cups of sugar. In this small little guy here, we have 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt. And in my liquid bowl, we have a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, a cup of milk, 2 large eggs, and a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Now this recipe did say that I could do a cup of water, but I took it out completely. It did say it was optional, and I decided to completely remove it. So we're not using any water in this recipe. So we're gonna go ahead and put all of this inside my KitchenAid and we'll start mixing it up. Alrighty, so I went ahead and prepped my cupcake liners. These are actually silicone, so they can be reused, which I love because it's way better than having to buy new ones, throw them out, and just have it to keep running to the store. So these are actually made of silicone, and I actually lined them with Baker's Joy, which is a non-stick spray for baking. So that's what I went ahead and did. This just finished mixing all of my dry and wet ingredients together. So we're gonna go ahead and pour these. Okay, so I went ahead and filled all the cupcakes halfway, or at least did my very best to fill it halfway. My KitchenAid bowl doesn't have like a pour pointer little thingy bobber, so it was kind of hard to be able to control it. So my arm was kind of getting tired after a while. Anyway, I did try my best to fill these halfway. The recipe does call for me putting these in the oven at 350 degrees for between 15 to 17 minutes. Now I do have a thermometer inside of my actual oven because I know that lies sometimes. So right now it's at 349, which we're gonna leave it at, but my actual oven's at 355. So I'm gonna pop these in there, set a timer for about 15 minutes and check them. Keep in mind when you wanna take things out of the oven, it's if they pass the toothpick test, which is where you put it in, and if anything kind of sticks to it, then it still needs to be cooked on the inside. Or if it comes right through with no residue on the toothpick, then it's completely cooked through and through. So we're gonna have to pop these into the oven, and then we'll wait for that timer to be done. Okay, so it's been about 17 minutes. I did let them stay in a little bit longer, so we're gonna go ahead and pull these little bad boys out and see how they came out. And they do smell really, really good. So let's take a look. What's up, home skillets? Oh wow, they smell so good. This one didn't have enough in it. It's a loner. All of the other ones are thriving, and this one is just down in the deep end. Very sad for that guy. Anyway, that just means it gets more frosting. So that's exciting. But anyway, now that I went ahead and took the cupcakes out of the oven, I'm going to go ahead and start making the vanilla buttercream that goes on the top. And as promised to my husband, I will put a little bit of Jimmy's on them as well. Okay, now the next step that it's telling me to go ahead and do as part of the recipe is to remove the cupcakes in their liners out of the hot pan and put them onto a cooling rack so that way they can cool for additional time while I prepare the buttercream for the actual cupcakes. So we're gonna go ahead and do that so these guys can get some cool air. Alrighty, so I'm now doing the buttercream frosting for the cupcakes. The only problem that I did run into is I didn't have powdered sugar. So I Googled how to make powdered sugar in under 30 seconds. And it popped up that I just needed a high-powered blender, and I could put the 4 cups of sugar that I needed and put it on high, and it'll turn into powdered sugar. And it actually worked very, very smoothly. So now I have all the ingredients that I need for my frosting, which are in its total 1.5 cup of unsalted butter that is room temperature, which I went ahead and put inside. I have 4 cups of powdered sugar, vanilla extract, which is at 1.5 teaspoons, and then I need 3 tablespoons of water or milk. In this case, I did use milk. The recipe did call for shortening, which I don't have, so we're not using any substitutes for that, which you can use meringue or another form of butter as well. So we're just gonna do it with what we have and go ahead and blend all this together so that way we can put it in its piping bag and frost our cupcakes that are cooling. So the frosting's done and it tastes really good. The one thing I will say is I did use 2 different blenders for making the sugar that I had powdered. I used a smaller blender that didn't really offer that much power, and then I just put it in my Ninja, which I don't know why I didn't do that from the beginning. So I do taste some of the pieces of sugar still because it didn't fully get grounded down in the smaller blender, and I already had put it in the mixing bowl, so I couldn't like take it out and do it all over again. So I do taste that, and so is my friend over here. Anyway, so now that this is finished, I'm gonna go ahead and put it into a piping bag with a tip and frost my cupcakes. As I mentioned before, I am no baker. This is my first time baking cupcakes from scratch. So I went ahead and went to the Dollar Tree and I found some piping bags and tips that I'll be using today. So what I'm gonna show you guys is how to actually put the tip inside of the piping bag so that I can go ahead and pipe the cupcakes. Now, if I don't do this correctly, I'm doing it because I'm following the directions. Don't come for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all this together and let's see how the actual frosting comes out inside the piping tool. So to show you guys what this little box right here says, again, I got this at the dollar store. It says to place my piping tip inside of the bag, cut off the excess of the bag, and then fit the tip securely in the opening. And then I have to put my icing inside, which is the icing you guys just saw me made. So I'm gonna go ahead and try these simple 4 steps and see how it comes out. Oh, it's already coming out. All right, so that's pretty much as good as it's gonna get. I don't have the ties for these at the moment, so we're just gonna make do with what we got. So let's go ahead and ice these cupcakes. Okay, so I'm full of baking supplies. I am up to towers with dishes, and my cupcakes are finally done. I would have to say I'm very, very happy with the way they came out. Of course, this is my first time ever making buttercream, ever making cupcakes from scratch, so I am very impressed with myself. Of course, I have a lot of work to do and to get better, but I'm okay with it 100%. So what I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to the recipe that I went ahead and found on the internet for this recipe and how easy it was. It was very, very easy. But definitely look at the recipe before you go to the store, because she definitely lied to me and said I have these items in my pantry when I definitely didn't. So if you're ever going to make a recipe and you're not a baker, please look at the recipe before you go to the store. That way you can know exactly what you need, and when you get back, you're not full of all of this mess and you are missing many ingredients. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also give me some comments on what you guys do in your kitchen. I would love to hear back from you guys. So stay tuned until next week for the next video here on Shae TV.